I'm going to win it this time. And again, that's a heavy lift, but I think anything can happen tonight.
Okay.
Loved having you on this preview show. Thank you so much, Laura Ingraham.
Thank you, Laura.
Good to
Want
see
to
you
get
guys.
some predictions now. You two, Sean Hannity has made his way to Milwaukee. Good evening, sir.
What's great? My two favorite people are two of my most favorite people in the world. Great to see you guys, and I hope to see you in a few moments in person because we're really not that far apart. Welcome to Milwaukee. It's going to be a fun night tonight.
Yeah. Sean, as you look at this, right, 8 on stage, what do you hope to see? What do you think we'll see?
You know, Laura used a word that I often use about debates. You're looking for moments. You know, you could think back, Reagan, I'm not going to let my opponent's youth and inexperience be a factor in this campaign. The whole room erupts. Even Walter Mondale started laughing. It was such a good line. That was a moment. Or you know, on the other side of it, Lloyd Bentsen, you know, Jack Kennedy, I thought that was kind of mean, low blow by Bentsen towards Dan Quayle. So I would say that, you know, look who comes in there and is comfortable. I would think Vivek is probably going to surprise a lot of people. He seems very comfortable in front of a camera. He seems ready to go. I just saw Ron DeSantis. He seemed ready to go. He seemed in a great mood, lighthearted. I saw Mike Pence. And I just think this, for all the talk about Donald Trump not coming, I think these guys, they should be glad he's not coming because he sucks out about 98.5% of all the oxygen in the room, and this hopefully will give them an opportunity. If I was them, I'd focus less on attacking other people there and explaining to America what are the values you hold dear? What are the principles, your governing principles? How are you going to fix the economy? What are you going to do on the border? What are you going to do with law and order? How does America take back its position as the dominant world leader, the sole superpower in the world, which I think Joe Biden has abdicated? Comparing and contrasting, you know, conservative ideas with Joe Biden's failures, I think would be a good strategy tonight.
Okay, well, you're in the spin room. We'll see if you're right, okay? Afterwards, we'll be going right to you, Sean. Nice to see you tonight.
All right,
Thanks,
I expect
Sean.
a grade tomorrow on your show. When you guys are on tomorrow, I expect you both to grade me and see if my predictions are right.
We shall do that. We'll shoot you a text.
Well,
Thank
he
you,
just
Sean.
said we're his favorite people, so I think it's going to be a pretty high grade, I would imagine. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Well, the first punches in tonight's high-stakes verbal slugfest are about to be thrown, and the candidates are about to take the stage.
So we will get last-minute analysis from Karl Rove and Kellyanne Conway. You see the stage inside. Brett and Martha getting warmed up, and Natalie Grant's about to sing our national anthem. Do not miss a moment. Welcome back to Milwaukee, just minutes away from the main political event of the summer. That is Ronna McDaniel. She's got a big job. She runs the RNC, and she's pretty much the commander-in-chief of this event tonight. She has about 4,000 guests with her.
Being pulled in lots of different directions. So let's get some last-minute analysis. Joining us now, Karl Rove and Kellyanne Conway. Kellyanne, let's start with you. This morning, you had a piece on FoxNews.com about the 6 key things you're going to look for. Has that changed at all over the course of the day?
It has not. And I made the point in that piece, Dana and Bill, that politically speaking, nobody had a better 2022 than Ron DeSantis, and nobody's had a worse 2023 than Ron DeSantis. He's got a real opportunity tonight to reset, to regain the traction and the excitement around his campaign. He has debated in the past Adam Putnam, Andrew Gillum, Charlie Crist. The other seasoned debaters on the stage, Chris Christie and Mike Pence, know their way around the podium. I don't think they'll have any kind of stage fright. And I believe the task for each of these candidates is to both portray confidence, but also to project competence. And if you're hung up on something or somebody's making you angry, it's incredibly important to stay calm and remember your audience is not each other. It's not even the moderators necessarily. The audience is we, the people. So look in that camera and take your case directly to the people. Last thing, all these candidates are under pressure and none of them are under oath. And I know that our moderators, Martha and Brett, are really going to press them hard on some of the suppositions and some of the salesmanship they're trying to make tonight. That's important, too.
All right, in a moment here, we expect the candidates to walk out, so stand by for that. If we have to interrupt Karl, we shall. But in the meantime, Karl, set the stage for what's on your mind. 10 minutes to go.
Well, look, everybody goes into this debate with a plan, and that'll last as long as they get a question that throws them off the plan. But having an idea of what it is that you want to share with the audience, lay out, and most important of all, what it is that you want to depict you as being the president of the United States. These things are all important, and every candidate should try and return to them as often as they can do so appropriately in the debate. But it's this is a high-stakes game, and it's hard to keep on plan, but you have to walk in with a plan and try and stick to it.
Got it.
And
that's the Mike Tyson theory,
and the candidates are walking out now. Let's take a look here as they line up. It was by order of polling, so that's how you see how this ended up. You have Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis there in the middle, Nikki Haley in light blue there, and Mike Pence on either side of them. And as these candidates get ready to take the stage, they're just going to have a chance to see each other after trading barbs in the press for the last little bit.
What's interesting is Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley are right next to each other. And they've kind of gone at it in one form or another based on foreign policy. I would expect to see something from her directed toward him. Ron DeSantis, Britt mentioned this a couple of minutes ago. He's really been under fire for the past 4 weeks, and we'll see how he rebounds tonight.
Governor Doug Burgum, he'll be screen right there. He was in the hospital this morning, having tore his Achilles tendon. And Asa Hutchinson was the last addition to the debate stage. He's on your far left. He's a former governor of Arkansas.
All right, Karl, we interrupted you. Go ahead with your final thought before tonight begins.
Well, look, these men have prepared, men and women have prepared for this event tonight, but literally every bit of preparation goes out the window when you actually go onto that stage, because it's a unique environment that they really haven't prepared themselves for. There's no way you can. And how well they do tonight is going to be a testament of their own native abilities and their ability to adjust to the changing circumstances they find themselves in.
Good stuff. Thank you, Karl. Thank you, Kellyanne. We'll see what we get in minutes. Doug Burgum, by the way, is far stage right.
Yes.
Playing basketball this morning, tore his Achilles tendon. Showed up at the green room earlier today on crutches. I didn't see him on crutches. It looked like he had some sort of leg brace on that.
He said that if, compared to what the men and women in blue do for us, he said this was nothing. So we're back with our panel now. Britt Hume, Harold Ford Jr., and Trey Gowdy. Britt, what about Trump not being here tonight? How do they deal with that?
Well, I guess he's did this pre-taped interview with Tucker Carlson for presentation on Twitter. It'll be interesting to see how that goes and whether any real news is made out of that. My thought is that it's risky to skip a debate. We saw it happen to Ronald Reagan when he skipped the Iowa debate in 1980, lost the state, and propelled George H.W. Bush into the lead, at least for a time. Reagan eventually overtook him and won the nomination. But You know, I don't think George H.W. Bush would have been president if he hadn't won Iowa in 1980. In the long run, he wouldn't have gotten the vice presidential nomination. Wouldn't have been able to stay in the race. But he had a foothold in the race, stayed in the race, ended up being president of the United States. So it can be consequential skipping debates. It's risky.
Trey, we haven't spoken about Chris Christie yet. I don't know what you view his strategy to be tonight, but he's talked publicly about going after Donald Trump, and he's talked about perhaps putting Ron DeSantis in his crosshairs tonight.
Yeah, well, you know, Bill, all 8 have something in common. They're behind. They're behind a lot to the guy that's not there. So if they want, they can quarrel among themselves, but they got to catch Secretariat right now. You better make the case, same ideas, fewer indictments. I mean, somebody's got to make the case. I got the same ideas Donald Trump has, but you don't need to worry about me making initial appearances and whether or not I can make bond if I'm the president. Unless you make that case to Trump supporters, they're going to stay behind.
Josh Holmes has been making the point that this is no longer survive and advance. It's you got to knock somebody out when you're that far behind.
He's right.
Harold.
Look, I hope that Trey gave that advice to a candidate out of South Carolina that he just gave us here on the set. Foreign policy will play, I think, a lot more prominently. Britt and I were talking about this earlier. These candidates, I think, will be able to distinguish and differentiate themselves with that. Our mate on the 5, Jesse Waters, earlier today said that he hopes that these guys are not looking, these guys and Governor Haley are not looking to get applause, but are looking for that silent approval and to give a real leadership, big vision-like thing for the country. If they're able to do that, the country will win, because public discourse and debate is the best thing for democracy, and we'll get a chance to see a little bit of it tonight.
Does that work, Britt?
Well, I think it can. I think, you know, foreign policy is way down on the list when you ask people what they're interested in. I think I'd be disappointed, though, if we didn't have a real discussion of it, particularly about whether, and it's controversial among Republicans now, to stick with it in Ukraine.
Interesting, and we've had developments in Russia on that war today. Trey, when you talk to a lot of people here in Milwaukee, they bring up immigration. And in the past 11 months, upwards of 140 people on the no-fly list have been apprehended at the border. And that's an all-time record. And you just wonder what the long-standing effect of that could be for our own national security here at home.
I think you are right and they are right. What shocked me was during the midterms, people who listed the border as their #1 issue kind of broke 55-45. I mean, you would think that Republicans would do really well among people who say the border is the #1 issue, but they don't. The same with crime. So the fact that they think border and immigration is #1 doesn't necessarily mean they're going to break Republican.
Harold.
Guns were interesting in #2 in that poll, guns and crime. So it'll be interesting to see if we raise that issue to how that issue is.
What about the
tonight.
economy? How do you frame this tonight for these 8 Republicans?
I think they have to give us some answers, give us some thoughts. It's easy to say that you don't like what Biden is doing, that he's Bidenomics not working, but give us some plans and ideas.
Good deal. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Great to have you
Pleasure.
Yeah,
on
Britt,
the show tonight. Thank
Trey,
you so much.
Harold, thank you.
sir.
It is close to 9 o'clock Eastern time, almost time for Brett and Martha. And the first primary debate of the cycle, and here we go, America. But before we go, let's make an entrance. What do you say, Dana?
I would love to do this.
there you
Let's
go.
see and check this out. We are going to take you back inside Fiserv Forum to hear 9-time Grammy nominee and 5-time CMA Dove Awards Female Vocalist of the Year, Natalie Grant, singing our national anthem.
And she is outstanding, and so is this. This is a live drone shot now, working its way through the arena. As we showed you this morning on America's Newsroom, you want to grab your popcorn, right?
Well, I was thinking that tonight I would love one of those pretzels with some Wisconsin cheese.
Yeah, you could get that here. This is Natalie Grant, and let's go.
Through the perilous fight, or the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glide, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave, or the land and the hum of the brave.
And what a stirring way to begin the first primary debate of this 2024 election season. The candidates are on the stage. Martha and Brett are going to start the questioning, and our drone took us right in
I
there.
mean, she almost makes you feel like play ball, right, Harold? I mean, let's go. Let's go inside Fiserv Arena. The people here in Milwaukee have been fantastic, and they are giving us their best tonight. 4,000 strong inside, and you're about to see the first event of the political season. Where we end up in November of 2024 is anyone's guess, but tonight is the first step in that direction. Enjoy it, America. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Brett and Martha take it from here. Good night.
Some call it the heartland. Others flyover country. But for the 2024 presidential hopefuls, the Midwest is the place to land. Here, there is one battleground that may be harder to win than ever. Wisconsin. A state known for its beer and cheese, gridiron and grit, and also its razor-thin elections. In 2016, Republicans narrowly flipped the Badger State red for the first time since Ronald Reagan. But it was back to blue by 2020. That election came during an unprecedented year. The country was rife with tension. In the suburbs of Milwaukee, the division seemed deeper than ever. But that was just the beginning. 2 years later, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down Roe versus Wade, leaving the legality of abortion up to the states. In Wisconsin, that meant a nearly total ban. The power of that issue drove Democrats to the polls this year. Now, that new thin liberal majority on the court could have that abortion issue before it again, just as the race for the White House accelerates. Tonight, the Republican candidates will face off at the home of the Bucks and the Marquette Golden Eagles, hoping to return next July to this city on the shore of Lake Michigan to accept the Republican nomination at their party's national convention.
Tonight, the race for the White House takes flight. Welcome to the first debate of the 2024 presidential campaign, live at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee.
8 Republican candidates have qualified and have chosen to be here on our debate stage tonight. They are here to lay out their vision for America, the battle as they battle for the GOP nomination. Good evening, everybody. I'm Martha MacCallum.
And I'm Bret Baier. This is the very same stage on which the Republican choice for president will accept.